Vincent, you're all good, number 2?
On time, I'm ahead of the game, I'm first place. I'm in my prime. Hard work that pays off. I pay dues, I'm paid off. Cross me, get crossed off. I'm so fresh, I'm so raw. Go hard like A-Day. It's game time like game day.
This season, watch the Hungry Jacks NBL take it to the next level.
Hello and welcome to Melbourne for the opening night of the 2021 Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz. It's a 2-week feast of pre-season action ahead of a season in which the Hungry Jacks NBL is set to go to the next level. Tonight we tip off behind closed doors at the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre. A doubleheader, the defending champs Melbourne United taking on the New Zealand Breakers, and then last season's semi-finalists, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, up against the Sydney Kings. Good evening, everybody. Liam Santamaria on deck alongside NBL champion and all-round nice guy, Peter Hooley. And Pete, it's been 4.5 months since Chris Goulding hoisted the championship trophy, and tonight the NBL is back.
Mate, good to be here. I'm thrilled with basketball's back. You know, the Australians have been waiting for it. It's been a lot of roster movement, a lot of new additions everybody's got to get used to, but I'm super excited to get going, and what better way to kick us off with the reigning champs.
Well, this year the Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz played across 3 different states. Games in Victoria, Tasmania and New South Wales. And as always, we get to check out some new additions to the league. Jeremiah Martin on screen right there. Tonight, though, the NBL preseason debut, Pete, of Matthew Dellavedova.
Can't wait to see it. I mean, the most hype signing we had, wasn't it? Delly coming back home, gets to play in front of his family and friends eventually. And we know we're behind closed doors right now, but just super excited to see him in the NBL, see what he can deliver, and big for Melbourne United to be able to get his signature. Plays alongside some of his national teammates, a lot of guys that he's known for a long time. We see Brad Newley there, another one new signing for Melbourne United, but cannot wait to see Delly on the floor.
For the Breakers, well, we know how tough things were for them last season. It's going to be similarly tough to begin this year. No Yanni Wetzel tonight, a little bit of a calf issue. Let's start with their French connection, the young guns Ousmane Dieng and Hugo Besson.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? I mean, you look at the Next Stars program, how good it's been for the league. We know that with LaMelo Ball. We've seen what's happened with Josh Giddey. But to get Ousmane Dieng, the length of him is the first thing that stands out. When you get to see him, you're going to watch him on here. He looks incredibly long, but when you see him in person, it takes it to another level. And very raw, but it's a lot to work with, a lot to be excited about. And I talked to a couple of the Breakers players at Media Day on Thursday, and they were really high on Besson. They really think the first word was he's a killer. It's going to be an adapting process for these guys coming into a professional league, and they're coming up against one of the best defensive teams over the last few years. So interested to see how this French connection starts off tonight.
No Ariel Hukporti for Melbourne tonight, their own European next star, but we will get a first chance to see Nigerian import Caleb Agata for the first time on an NBL floor.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I mean, another one where we saw little snippets of what he could do in the lead-up games to the Olympics for the national team for Nigeria. Another one who comes pretty highly regarded on the defensive end, which you know Dean Vickerman's going to be really excited about. And you throw him alongside Delly, you throw him alongside Shaili. They're going to be tough. They're going to be nightmares for guards. So not only that, he can put the ball in the basket. We saw that as well. Another one I look forward to seeing how he plays alongside Delly, how he plays alongside Chris Goulding. can't wait to see these new additions.
Not far away from tip-off. Last one I want to touch on is Peyton Seaver, highly decorated point guard, new import for the Breakers, and he'll be running the show for New Zealand tonight.
Look, he's probably one of the most exciting players that I'm looking forward to seeing this year. As you said, highly regarded, won a national championship at Louisville in his first 2 years. Backed up or played alongside Edgar Sosa, former New Zealand Breakers import as well, and he's had an outstanding career in Europe, playing in Berlin and Germany as well, and another one who just seems to really be happy where he's at. Chalkenham, he's looking forward to this challenge, and I can't wait to see what happens when he steps onto the floor and what a test he's got in this backcourt for Melbourne United.
You can see some of the guys for the second leg of the doubleheader tonight in the background there, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix coaching staff. Simon Mitchell to the far left, Jalen Adams there getting accustomed and settled in for his first NBL preseason outing tonight. Now let's look at the starters. For Melbourne United, Pete, they're coming in with exactly the group you would have expected.
Yeah, they are. Caleb Agata, Matthew Dellavedova, CG, Mason Peatling, who really made that his starting four spot his last year, and then big Joe Luala-Chul. And I tell you what, keep an eye out for Joe Luala-Chul. We know he is not afraid of any moment, but this man coming back from a little bit of a taste of the States over there playing, and he's coming in with a whole lot of confidence, gets to solidify that starting role, and apparently he has been tearing it up in preseason training.
And for the Breakers, mention Yanni Wetzel not playing. Rob Lowe comes into the starting lineup. Peyton Seaver and Hugo Besson in the backcourt. The Kiwi connection of Tom Abercrombie and Finn Delaney in the forward spots.
I mean, how good's Finn Delaney been? To have a player in back-to-back seasons be considered a most improved player, what's next for him? And he's excited for this test. And another one who, alongside Tom Abercrombie, who just keeps putting his hand up now as one of the best defensive stoppers in the league. I asked him what his favourite challenge was, and it's this man right here, Chris Golding. So looking forward to seeing how he does this in the preseason. Won't give too much away.
Well, it's been a long time, 4.5 months, as I mentioned, since Melbourne hoisted the trophy. And look, we had the Olympics. We've had a little bit between then, but we've been looking forward to this. Melbourne win the tip, and we are underway. Matthew Dellavedova with his first possession in an NBL jersey as Joe Luala-Chul goes to work on Rob Lowe in the block, right to home base, and he'll draw an early personal on the Breakers.
Well, there you go, straight into the big fella. From all reports, he's had an outstanding preseason, playing with super confidence, and this is a mismatch nightmare when he puts the ball on the floor for Rob Lowe, because we know he's a guard in a big's body. Joe Luala-Chul picks up a quick foul there.
Here's Agata, the Nigerian international out of the Olympics. A second early touch for Luala-Chul down low, going hard on Besson, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, there's a big mismatch there. Besson finds himself with Joe Luala-Chul in the block, and they're feeding the big fella early, and why not? And we talk about him coming off the bench last year. We'd played alongside Jock Landau a bit, but never seen a shot he doesn't like, and fair play to him, because you ask him who can stop him when he's got the ball in his hands, there's not many he thinks can stop him.
I found it interesting, Joe Luala-Chul re-signed on just a 1-year deal during the off-season, so clearly betting on himself, saying, all right, I'm best six man, that gives me some currency, but in this bigger role, I think I'm going to be worth more on the free agent market this time next year.
Well, especially that, and coming back from that little stint in the States, and I think he really took a lot of confidence out of that, saying that he was one of the better players there, and he thinks he deserves that chance. So looking forward to seeing how he takes another step this year.
First possession for the Breakers. Here goes Besson. Wheeling and dealing. Agata gives him a look from long range, and he drills it. Hugo Besson with an early three-point make for the Breakers.
Oh, there you go. That's why they loved getting Besson's signature. Originally going to be looked at as the next star, but they signed Dieng as Joe Luala-Chul tees one up. And Finn Delaney gets out on the break.
Here's New Zealand off and running. Seaver launches. It's off, and Peatling grabbed the board, but I think the foul's on Caleb Agata underneath. Hugo Besson's attack on the offensive glass, winning it back for the Breakers.
He's a little athletic too. We love our sneaky athletes. Besson is one of those guys, and one of the youngest imports in the history of the Breakers program. Was going to be considered for the next star, but when you've got Dieng, Besson was good enough as Rob Lowe. Nice little touch there on Joe Luala-Chul down the other end.
He's coming off a disjointed NBL 21 season, Rob Lowe. In and out of the lineup over the course of the year, and get another look at it here. Rob Lowe wheeling and dealing. Back to live action. Luala-Chul one-on-one. and one finish. Count it for Joe Luala-Chul.
Well, he's causing all sorts of problems down there, Luala-Chul, as he does for a lot of people. But when he gets that low, it's tough to block him. When he rises up with that hook shot over the left shoulder, got such a good touch on there. He's trying to work on that floater game as well. And you talk about all his work in the preseason, all his work at training. He rarely spends time with workouts on the block. He wants the ball in his hand, working on handles, working on those floaters, and that's just something Joe Luala-Chul is adding to his game. And geez, it's an exciting start for Melbourne United and Joe Luala-Chul.
So an early change for the Breakers. Rob Lowe comes out. Kyron Galloway comes in, a rookie this season after development player contract in year one last year. And he gets an early touch. Hand off to Besson. Finds Galloway. Foul called on Caleb Agata. The Breakers will take it on the side.
We're running a few things for Besson here early, and as we said, and I spoke to the players, and they said he was a killer. They said they love the energy he brings, and he's not going to shy away from any challenge, and we've seen that so far to start this one.
Siva over Dellavedova, and Daly takes it away. Here come Melbourne. On ball from Luala-Chul. Daly trying to cross over Siva. Good D, step through. Little up and under from Matthew Dellavedova. His first points in an NBL jersey.
Well, that's what we've come to expect from Delhi. Might look like he's rushed, but he's so patient with when he's going to get the shot off, and got Peyton Siva down low. Nice little step through, and if there was any sort of little nerves being back in a Melbourne United jersey from Delhi, that'll calm them as Besson tees one up and comes up short.
Delhi barking instructions. Peatling, Luala-Chul. They give him space to operate. Spins on Galloway, up strong, and Luala-Chul giving New Zealand problems early down low.
Well, it's going to be tough for them. We know Yanni Wetzel not playing with that calf strain. Going to be a bit shallow in that area. Someone's going to have to put a body on Joe Luala-Chul because he is having everything his own way early in this one.
Here's Siva. Besson, another look at it from range. That one's long. Can't quite find the target. In the opening quarter here, Besson. Again, Luala-Chul, the double team comes. Kick. Daly from long range. It's off the rim. Peatling puts it back.
Well, they're getting what they want underneath the rim. O-boards, deep seals, whatever Melbourne United do down low, they are having it all their own way. As a quick time out here from Dan Shamir to discuss that.
Well, that's a fast start for Melbourne United. 11-5 in the early going, and you're right, the absence of Yanni Wetzel really making things difficult for the Breakers right now.
Well, it is, and you can see Melbourne United's plan right now, and a lot of teams aren't going to give a lot away in preseason, especially game one of the preseason, just trying to get back out there and play against someone else and see how you guys go. And it's interesting, they've really just thrown everything. Yeah, Joe Luala-Chul in a half-court set, and that possession before we see Chris Golding bring the ball up the floor. It's been nearly 3 minutes. You have to take a shot. You have to run an offensive set for him. Normally you try and pull up and test how he's going, but no, they know that Joe Luala-Chul right now is unstoppable, and they're just feeding him in down low.
Well, they were 28-8 last season, the regular season. Melbourne United, as we know, they took the championship 3-0 in the grand final series, and they've had a fair bit of chopping and changing with their roster. We know 4 big outs in Landale, Hobson, Mitch McCarron, and Uday Bubba. Some interesting additions. Daly, of course, the most high profile. What have you made of his first few minutes here in a Melbourne United jersey?
Well, it's good, and you talked about the guys you're trying to replace. It's hard to replace those guys. The highlight, I mean, the big one there is obviously Jock Landale, but Mitch McCarron is such a hard piece to replace, and whether you're going to try and replace him by certain guys and imports, it's always going to be hard. So just to get Daly to come in and be that role, I think it just takes a lot of pressure on the rest of the recruiting going through that period.
So Jeremiah Martin checks in for the Breakers. Peyton Siva has the mismatch here with Luala-Chul. They go down low to Galloway. Kicks it back out. Siva, Galloway. Kick around the perimeter. Here's Martin. And he knocks down his first look on his first touch. Jeremiah Martin for the Breakers.
Geez, that was extremely good ball movement from the New Zealand Breakers as they get down the other end. Melbourne United that was a training drill down that end. But how nice was that ball movement? Threw it inside, threw it outside. Peyton Siva attacking the rim, extra pass. Let the flyby happen, and Martin knocks down the 3.
Pick and roll here with Delaney. Flares, drives on Daly. Holds his position there, Dellavedova, but Finn Diesel, too big, too strong, down low.
What a finish. Finn Delaney with the left as well. Just felt the bump and played through the contact, gets a chance at a three-point opportunity. And talking to Finn Delaney on Thursday, and as you said, the challenges they had last year, I think they are come over with a way better mindset. They know that, well, they're hopeful, everything going well, they'll be able to get home earlier than last year, play in front of their fans, but it's all about starting the season well so you can really finish it strong. We know how well they finished the last 2 years in the season, but they want to get off to a really good start here in NBL 22.
Dellavedova on the attack. Ball's loose. The Breakers take it. Here comes Martin slicing to the bucket in transition. Can't finish. Golding takes it and out of bounds. I think the ball touched Peatling as his back foot was on the line.
He's not happy about it, CG, but he's exactly right. He kind of pushed Peatling out the way with the ball, but as the contact happened, Peatling was then out of bounds and Breakers get a chance to try and tie or take the lead.
So a steadying couple of possessions here for New Zealand out of the timeout. And as you say, a chance to tie it or take the lead. Peyton Seaver controlling the tempo right now for New Zealand. Galloway, pick and roll. Foul called on Luala Chul. Kyron Galloway to the free throw line.
I think that foul's on Golding. Just a little hand in the cookie jar there because Luala Chul looked like he had that time and ready to go. We see here Peyton Seaver made a couple of these passes so far. And there it is. Just Golding in the hand in the cookie jar. And Luala Chul, great timing on that. But Peyton Seaver starting to get a little feel there. You see a couple little pocket passes to the bigs and making some good plays. And especially imports coming in, new guys, it's all going to be a big feeling out process, which is so good for the Blitz to play so many games in a few days. And we'll blink, and before we know it, we'll be tipping it off for real.
Played 27 games, has a DP last season. Galloway, one start. And working his way into a bigger role this year. Offensive rebound off his own missed free throw. Shea Yili into the game, guarding Peyton Seaver, and that one flies into the second row.
Finn Delaney just trying to get a nice little cut on the rim and a bit of miscommunication there, but I like the movement that the Breakers have now, as you said, settled into this game, and you're going to expect a lot of rust from a lot of teams. They can play against each other as much as they want in the off-season and pre-season, but it's a lot different when you get another jersey in front of you.
Some extended pressure from New Zealand. This slows Melbourne's advance a little. Here's Dellavedova, high-low Peatling, Luala Chul can't finish, but puts it back in on the second attempt.
Well, unfortunate for fantasy owners who plan to get Joe Luala Chul. You can't have him now, but he is filling it up. He's getting his offensive rebound, just having his way down low.
There's Jeremiah Martin, finds Galloway, and one finish from the big fella, and that's what Jeremiah Martin can do. Wheeling and dealing off pick and roll actions, setting up the big fella underneath.
I'm loving the screen and rolls that I've seen from the Breakers so far, and the guards are doing a really good job of being patient and finding that little pocket to get that pass in there, and they're finishing through contact, finishing strong, and that's what seemed to get them back in this one to start with. Melbourne United, we know what they're doing down the other end with Luala Chul, but every time they get that screen and roll, good things are happening.
Really good first quarter minutes from Galloway as the Breakers steady the ship. Shea Yili, guarded by Hugo Besson. Dave Barlow inserted for his first minutes. Luala Chul wants it down low. Illy attacks. Galloway sends it away.
Well, he's done enough last year to be able to earn that roster spot right now, Galloway. Another exciting prospect and really good athlete. We saw it a lot last year, and we see the glimpses of it there. And it looks like he put on a bit of size too in the off-season, so he's going to be a nice little addition, especially when you lose a guy like Wetzel to injury or free throws, as Shea Yili gets a nice little backdoor there.
Luala Chul again comes up with it. Galloway just didn't foul strong enough, and Luala Chul count it and the foul. Joe Luala Chul getting busy in the opening quarter of the opening game of the NBL Blitz.
He's got 11 points already, a chance to get 12 right now in the first 5 minutes of this game. And when he gets it down low, we know there's not much you can do to stop him, but when that shot goes up, someone's got to get a body on him. And if it's a small guy, you've got to push him back because we know how incredibly long Joe Luala Chul is. He'll just reach over and grab it.
So Luala Chul has 12 of Melbourne United's opening 18 points, and Melbourne have a 3-point lead. Here comes Seaver, working on Daly. Gets it back off Galloway. Pretty stagnant set here from the Breakers thus far. Good pass from Seaver. Delaney finds the lane, and he gets himself to the charity stripe.
Well, a lot more aggressive in the last few minutes here. The Breakers down that end now. They've started to settle. And this is a lineup here. We talk about Dean Vickerman. We know how he goes, especially down the end, as there's the replay. Shayley just not in position. Hits his national teammate Finn Delaney. But when it comes to crunch time in the ends of games, Dean Vickerman's huge on being able to trust the guys he throws out there. We were going to see a lot of this lineup, I think, because from all reports, Shayley, Matthew Dellavedova, as a tandem, have been working really well together, obviously pushing each other in practice, but on the defensive end, they are going to be a nightmare.
Delaney, of course, coming off a career year, all NBL second team last season, averaging 16 and 7, had 3 30-point games last season, Delaney, and I'm expecting him to take that up even another level this season. Dan Shamir loves him. A lot of action with him, high pick and rolls with Peyton Seaver, Martin, Will McDowell-White, and he's going to have another big year. High-low, Golding, Luala-Chul. Speaking of big years, this man, Joe Luala-Chul, is staring down the barrel of one.
Well, we expected it, didn't we? And he's got the starting role now, and that's his to have, and he's going to be expecting to have a big one on the score sheet as Dieng, first into the game, takes a 3-ball, comes up short.
Here comes Golding, looking to attack. Finn Diesel turns him away. Daly open on the trail and front rims it. Here comes Jeremiah Martin now. The import brought in to replace Ty Webster. He's so tough to guard as he wheels and deals and slices down the lane.
He's looked really good since stepping onto the floor. Jeremiah Martin, I like seeing what he's brought as Joe Luala-Chul just running the lanes and fills it up once again.
Oh my goodness,
I'm not sure.
May have Fitty.
Where's Statman? Have we had a 50-point blitz game? I don't think Dean Vickerman probably let him out there long enough. We'll expect to see a lot of guys get some minutes, but he is doing it all.
16 points in the opening 6.5 minutes from Joe Luala-Chul. Finn Delaney with the righty hook down the middle of the lane.
Right now you're thinking, what a time. Dan Shamir thinking, Joe Luala-Chul's going to beat us. Chris Golding, his first shot attempt comes up long, and keeping everyone else quiet. It's just Joe Luala-Chul doing the damage really right now. They're only down 1.
Here comes Martin off the Galloway screen. Keeps Golding behind him and just couldn't quite catch it. Galloway underneath. Illy finds Barlow. Melbourne United steady. Luala-Chul says, do you know what? Just give it to me down low. I'll make it happen. And Daly calls him out for the high screen. Late on the shot clock now. Dellavedova needs to make a play, spins on Galloway and kisses it off the glass.
Oh, disjointed offense, but Delhi just saw the mismatch with the big fella on him. A nice little spin, and again, we talk about the patience with Delhi with the ball in his hands, made something happen, didn't force anything. Great read on that spin and good finish.
2 minutes and change left in the opening quarter. Here comes Ousmane Dieng. The talented French next star kicks it out. Galloway lets it go. That was kind of ugly from the Breakers. And they come up short. 3-point lead for Melbourne. Luala-Chul, one-on-one. Down low with Galloway. Delaney hedging, digging, and fouling. Luala-Chul down low.
He's going to go to the line here for bonus, I believe. But you see what they're trying to do now. Just crowd Joe Luala-Chul. He's got his hands on his head. He's exhausted. And fair enough. He's had everything run through him for 8 minutes. And he's done no wrong. 16 points, 6 of 9 from the field, yet to miss a free throw, 4 rebounds, all on the offensive end. Going to get a well-earned rest after these two.
You can see him grabbing his shorts. I mean, this is going to be the challenge for him over the course of the season, isn't it? It's not a spark plug role off the bench. It's you're our guy playing starters minutes, and he's going to need to be able to run them out. And it's been a big opening quarter doing just that. Earns himself a rest, Joe Luala-Chul. 17 points of Melbourne's first 24. And he sits down for a spell as we get another look. It's always nice to get another look at a free throw and just see that thing go through the net.
Well, he was happy to see that go down so he could get a sub. And you're right, I want to talk about a little bit about get the aerobic capacity up, because it's going to be a lot different as Tom Abercrombie, just a little happy feet there. But in that spark plug role he played last year, when he's a starter, he's going to get a lot of attention. He's going to be getting hit a lot. So he's going to have to try and fight through that, because especially when you have games like this, when you're feeling good in the season, you don't want to be sitting down because you're tired. You want to be filling that up, and you have your sights set on a lot bigger things in your career. So that's going to be a really interesting one to watch with Luala.
Brad Newley in for Melbourne United, as is Callum Dalton. Offensive foul called on Dave Barlow. The Breakers win it back.
Tom Abercrombie just moving his feet. Dave Barlow out there. Brad Newley. A couple of vets for Melbourne United.
Here comes Dieng. Ball handling responsibilities for the 6'10 Frenchman. Pull up, mid-range. It's off the back of the iron. Here comes Shea Illy looking to push. Dalton slaps on the early ball screen. And an offensive foul. Dalton didn't quite get set as he cleaned up Peyton Seaver.
And this is what preseason's all about, isn't it? Different lineups, seeing what works, how your rotations work. Right now, we've got Agado as the only starter on the floor for Melbourne United. Dean Vickerman trying to think, and it's going to change throughout the course of the next few games as we get ready for December 3rd. But what do I need? How many starters do I need out there with the bench guys? What bench unit works well together? This is all what preseason's about.
Sam Timmins with some first quarter minutes. The Breakers DP, what a big body. He is off the bench. Martin grabs his own miss. He's pounding the air out of the ball. Martin finds Timmins, and Dave Barlow sends him away.
Oh, good block by Dave Barlow. What a pass. Jeremiah Martin. He's made some things happen. He's looked really comfortable since coming onto the floor, and it's going to make Dan Shamir very happy. And we talked about the losses they have, the different plays they've got to have to try and get on the same page. And it's been a unique little experience for a lot of the Breakers. And we think about what's happened both in New Zealand and Australia, and talking to Finn Delaney and Tom Abercrombie, they haven't had a lot of time to get accustomed with each other off the floor, which we know how important culture is for teams. They've been in lockdown, so it's not too much of an opportunity to do that, but they're happy to be now in Australia where you can do that, get to know each other, because they've got a lot of different cultures to try and get on the one page.
He had 2 seconds on the shot clock. Martin had to let it fly, and the Breakers win it back. Good effort from Sam Timmins, just making a nuisance of himself on the offensive glass, and a new shot clock for New Zealand as Will McDowell-White takes it on the baseline. Timmins, Abercrombie, Dieng, guarded by the veteran Brad Newley. Wheeling and dealing off the Sam Timmins screen, pulls up from range. That's way off. McDowell-White cleans it up. He lets it fly, and that falls short. Here comes Melbourne. Turnover on the Dalton outlet pass. Martin in the corner, and they are going to hold it. Just a 3-second differential between the game and shot clock as Jeremiah Martin winds us down to the quarter time break. Help from Dalton. Handoff here. Timmins, Martin fakes the handoff. Sam Timmins just slices his way to the bucket, beats the buzzer, and scores it for the Breakers.
Well, another bit of a disjointed play, but well finished by Timmins there through the contact of Dalton. And as well as Melbourne United's played down one end, the Breakers only down 2.
Agada lets it fly. That's off, and it's a 2-point lead to Melbourne United after the opening quarter of the first game of the 2021 Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz. They got up big early. A timeout from Dan Shamir. Good response from the New Zealand Breakers overall, but the story from the opening quarter has to be Joe Luala-Chul. 17 points. There you see the team scoring numbers. 10 of 18, 56% from the field for Melbourne United. 2 from 11 from 3 for the Breakers. Melbourne yet to connect from long range, but on an individual basis, Hulls, it was all about Joe Luala-Chul.
How exciting is it just to know what's coming for the season? And they ran everything to him. The very first play, which we so often see go to Chris Golding, they threw it in to JLA, got fouled, threw it straight back into him again, got fouled again, and they just kept milking that. They're saying you cannot have anything to do with Joe Luala-Chul, as you see there with his 17 points. Finn Delaney and Jeremiah Martin were the really standouts for the New Zealand Breakers, but they'll be happy, I guess, to be down only 4 with how easily Melbourne United scored. They got to clean up that when Luala-Chul comes back on the floor, but little nerves settlers after a while, and especially the Next Stars. Next Stars program, it comes with, if you don't want it, it's coming with pressure, isn't it? Because you know what's it's happened the last couple of years. LaMelo Ball, Josh Giddey trying to rise up the draft stocks, but a lot of that happens with just being comfortable out there, knowing what's happening, being comfortable with teammates, and that's going to come with games, isn't it? First game for the Breakers.
Can you sense some of those nerves with those French next stars in that opening term, just from the shot selection and what you saw from them in those opening few minutes?
100%. I mean, Basson looked good knocking down that 3-ball, made a couple of plays off the dribble, but Dieng coming in off the bench, and it's hard not to. You think about where you are, you see all the draft boards, all that's happening. It's going to be in the back of your head whether you like it or not, and a lot of it's just going to be about getting comfortable playing with these guys. And Dan Shamir wants to see, what's the best lineup I have when Dieng's out there? What's the best lineup I have for Basson? And everybody else will fill roles as well. But really exciting prospects, exciting talents. But a lot of it's just going to take time, and you can see it here, just trying to rush a little bit here and there. But overall, they'll come good.
We talk about the chance to get a look at some fresh faces to the league, and we spoke about the response from the Breakers after that early Dan Shamir timeout. What did you make of Jeremiah Martin and his impact off the bench in that opening quarter?
It was exciting, wasn't he? I mean, he really looked like he's the one who came on for the Breakers and settled things down. And you're going to expect a lot of rust from a lot of teams, but after the Breakers got down a little bit, Luala was having his way. When Martin came on, he just looked to settle things. Peyton Seaver ran the show, made a couple of nice passes, but Jeremiah Martin was everywhere. He was driving, he was attacking, he was making good plays, good passes. So really impressed with what I've seen with him so far. And again, Dan Shamir just has the chance to shuffle things around. And that was a big question mark last year, wasn't it? You had a lot of guards, you had a lot of ball-dominant guards. Who needs the ball in their hand to be successful? Can you shift guys off the ball and they still work out well? And that's going to be another thing he's got to work out here.
So we've had the score corrected. I did have a sense maybe that there was something awry with the score there at one point, and it is indeed 25-21, so a 4-point lead to Melbourne as we tip off the second quarter. McDowell, White, Martin in the backcourt for the Breakers, Abercrombie, Dieng in the forward spots, and Sam Timmins in the middle. Dieng wide open, and he drills it. Good find from Will McDowell White, and a knockdown 3-ball from the NBA draft prospect in Ousmane Dieng.
And that's the one. That's the nerve settler. You come out there, perfect shot. You see him just come around the top of the key, just follow Will McDowell White's drive to the left, and great feed from Will McDowell White, who's expecting another good year after really had the triple-double and stepped into the league and made some waves last year. But that'll help Ousmane Dieng.
Dellavedova, Agata, Newley, Barlow, and Callum Dalton starting the second term for Melbourne United, and another offensive foul on Dalton. First season as a fully contracted player after 3 as a DP in Brisbane, and picked up a couple of early personals in this first half.
That's his second offensive foul, moving screen, and again, just got to find out, you're playing with the NBA champion, Olympian Matthew Dellavedova. Where does he want the screen? What timing do I have to be there to set it right for him to be successful? And Jeremiah Martin taking it down, and it's going to be another foul on Callum Dalton, it looks like, but Jeremiah Martin in attack mode.
It gets to the rim at will, Jeremiah Martin. You know, those who have watched him previously, he's done that at the G League level. He blew up in the bubble at the NBA level, spent time with Brooklyn and Cleveland, put up 19 and 5 in the G League last season, and it was a lot of that, a lot of wheeling and dealing off pick and rolls, getting into the lane, and he's got that lefty kind of herky-jerky game combined with a quick change of speed. He's a really tough cover.
Well, it's going to make the other guy, the wings, jobs a lot easier, because if you make the right read, we saw what happened with Dieng moving, and you're going to have the shooters, but guys like Tom Abercrombie, Finn Delaney, who are slashing when he's making his moves, they're going to get a lot of dunks. They're going to get a lot of things on the rim because it's going to open up when Jeremiah Martin attacks.
So a 3-ball from Dieng, and that from Martin, and the Breakers are in the lead. Here comes Agata, can't finish. Ball tipped out by New Zealand. Melbourne will win it back.
Timmins there just tipping it out because that was about to fall right in Joe Luala-Chul's hands. And Dean Vickerman didn't give him much of a breather at all. Said if there is a 50-point record, you're going to have a chance to beat it before you sit down.
So if you missed this off the top, no Yanni Wetzel tonight for New Zealand, sitting out with a little calf strain. Barlow lets it fly, can't hit. No Ariel Hukporti, the next star for Melbourne United. So each team missing a key part of their rotation, at least what we expect to be their rotation this season. Certainly Wetzel's going to be A big minute roll for the Breakers, and the turnover ensues there. Abercrombie throws it out of bounds.
And Hookporty's one that I'm really looking forward to seeing how he fits with Melbourne United, because you talk about everything Joe Luala-Chul does well. When you come up against some big guys who are going to be backing you down low with their size, can he be one? He's extremely athletic. He can get up and down really quick to block some shots, and those two, can they work well together? But a guy we're going to see in the next game, Terrell Martin, is looking really good, and those are the kind of matchups we'd love to see what Hookporty can bring.
Well, an offensive foul called down low. Sam Timmins is happy. The Breakers are going to get it back. Speaking of the next game, Hills, one guy we're not going to see, late breaking news, is Jalen Adams. Unfortunately, the import Sydney point guard, he's got a little knee soreness, so they're going to be careful with him. Maybe some extended run for a guy like maybe Bawali Bales. Get a good look at him. New signing during the off-season for the Kings. Here comes McDowell White, Timmins, Dieng. Great take from Dieng, and Sam Timmins with the putback. Strong finish from Sam Timmins, the New Zealand DP.
He's making things happen because he's just in the right spots, hanging around. Just followed that drive from Dieng as Tom Abercrombie, called for the foul there. But again, I love what I saw from Dieng, not settling, just putting his head down, going at Joe Luala-Chul. We talk about length with guys with their wingspan. There's probably two of the longest wingspans in the league. Had Joe Chi that we'll see next as well to that list. But what a follow from Timmins.
That's a 3-point lead to the Breakers. After that, Timmins flush. Here's Martin up in a guard stuff. Dellavedova works off Joe Luala-Chul. Back cut from Newley. He tries to make something happen. Good cut from a guarder moving without the ball. His defender Martin fell asleep. And Caleb Agata will make his first trip to the charity stripe. The new Melbourne United Nigerian import.
Another one you're trying to figure out where you fit in this team. And obviously pre-season's all about having those conversations. What's my role? What do you expect from me? And talking to the coaches and having those player-only meetings. But you got to see Delhi, you got to see CG up close in those warm-up games for the Olympics. And where do I fit alongside these guys? Everyone had a good seat for what Chris Golding did in that Nigerian game, but another one who'd be excited at the prospect of playing alongside those guys.
You said players-only meetings. Is it crisis time in Melbourne United?
Still do that in the preseason. Still get that done in the preseason.
This is the opening game.
Well, it might be over coffee.
Does Vico know that players-only meetings are taking place? 1 point game. Couple of minutes into the second quarter, Abercrombie turns down the look from long range. Late in the shot clock, McDowell White finds Timmins. Good help from Peatling. And Timmins can't finish with the left. Here comes Newley. In terrific shape to begin the preseason, Brad Newley. Peatling slices down the lane. Can't finish. Timmins takes it away.
Been really impressed with Timmins' work rate. That possession before came up, set an on-ball, dove all the way down to the NBL logo, came back up, set another one, got the roll, and end up missing the shot. But he is everywhere right now, making the most of his minutes. And that's what you want to see. Dan Shamir, you know you're down Yanni Wetzel, you're telling Timmins you're going to play some minutes here, but come on and just have an impact, and he's done that.
Well, Dan Shamir's leaving him out there. Extended run here for Sam Timmins. Rob Lowe, Kyron Galloway calling their Jets on the bench. We know Yanni Wetzel not playing. And Timmins, the DP, taking advantage of his opportunities. Now he needs to sit down and guard Luala-Chul right here, one-on-one with the hottest man in the game. And he does it beautifully. Steal from Timmins. Here come the Breakers. McDowell White steps back. Hard off the iron. Brad Newley with the rebound. Kicks it up. Luala-Chul can't finish down low. Timmins cleans it up. A little sloppy from both teams for a minute here. Here goes Hugo Besson. Secondary transition. Kicks it out. Good find. Delaney needs to fire that. Does the second time around, and it's off.
Well, he's got to shoot that first one, Finn Delaney. That's what makes him a really good threat when he steps into that through ball. But that's steal from Sam Timmins on Luala-Chul. Luala-Chul, when they threw it in, took one dribble straight to him, backed him up, and as soon as Sam Timmins did that, he took another 2 steps forward to meet him, didn't allow him to get any sort of space, threw it back out, and then got around with a steal. That is excellent defense one-on-one from Sam Timmins, in a well-deserved break now as Rob Lowe checks back into the game.
Well, Dan Shamir and the Breakers coaching staff would be wrapped with what they got out of their DP in this opening half so far. Newley Kicks it out to Dellavedova. They look at Luala-Chul again. Newley from long range. Side spin no good. Here comes Peyton Seaver. Besson. The ball's popping around for the Breakers. Finn Delaney as the trail. Can't drill it, but Rob Lowe just did enough down low to force it out of bounds off Melbourne United.
Well, we see the focus is still Joe Luala-Chul. Dean Vickman probably saying, let's get through some stuff now. We got what we wanted out of that first quarter. Still have that impact. Really disjoint the defense of the Breakers.
Here goes Besson. A walking bucket is what we've heard out of the Breakers camp. Seaver can't hit. Both teams struggling a little bit from long range in this opening half. Here comes Dellavedova. No ball screen, just goes to work on the teenage Frenchman in Hugo Besson, and he bullies him into a personal foul.
Well, that's something the next stars are going to get all around the league. When you get Matthew Dellavedova, you get these guys who have been around, the Bryce Cottons of the league, all these guys who, seeing these next stars come through, they're going to go at you. They're going to go at you and make you welcome to this league as quickly as possible, as Chris Golding checks straight back into the game for Brad Newley.
What have you made of Daly's first half here? You mentioned the NBA championship in 2016, 499 NBA games. Of course, the three-time Olympian and a member of that bronze medal winning team in Tokyo.
I mean, it's been solid. We've seen when he attacks the rim, the patience he has. He's missed a couple of wide open threes. I mean, that's the question mark, isn't it, coming into this year, is how is he going to be able to shoot it? Because we've seen over the course of the years, guards and a lot of coaches are going to attempt you to shoot it, and you've got to be able to step in, knock it down with confidence. But I think he's been solid. A lot of the plays they've run have been Joe Luala-Chul and trying to read off him. So once they start getting through their other sets, when they start getting Chris Golding involved more, let's see what Delhi can do.
Well, this is a part of what Delhi does, though, isn't it? He's got that high basketball IQ, and when his big fella's going to work, has the mismatches or is feeling it, he feeds that beast. Delaney, speaking of beasts, can't muscle his way to a bucket there. Here comes Golding in transition. Hands from Rob Lowe, and Melbourne will take it underneath. 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, you're going to love to play with Delhi, aren't you? Because whenever the ball's in his hands, he's always looking. He's surveying the floor. Where can I put guys in the position to be successful? Which is, again, how exciting preseason is, which you probably might see a lot of stars potentially not play too many minutes, but I'm sure Dean Vickman wants to get him in enough spaces. CG tees one up, and CG, with a hand right in his face, does what he does best. But, yeah, to see Delhi find out where do guys want the ball. I've got new teammates here. He obviously knows Chris Golding, Dave Barlow, Brad Newley, but where do these other guys successful? I'll try and put them in that best position.
Abercrombie off the Rob Lowe screen, and they might look at whether or not, no, Abercrombie not in the shooting motion when the foul called off the ball. That's where he's done so much good work over the years, Abercrombie, wheeling and dealing off those screens away from the ball. And a timeout called. 32-28, a 4-point lead to Melbourne United after that Chris Golding splashdown off the baseline inbounds play.
Oh, that's only his second field goal attempt, Chris Golding, and how they're going to play. It's going to be a lot different, isn't it? I mean, we know Jock Landale was huge for them last year, and what he's doing now and how important he was to their success, and obviously Joe Luala-Chul is going to play a lot differently to that, but they don't have that Mitch McCarron, they don't have Scotty Hobson coming off the bench. It's a lot of a different roster. How does Dean Vickman try and fit this puzzle together?
Well, speaking of puzzles, the Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz standings can become a little bit of a puzzle as the tournament progresses. It's a 2-week feast of basketball, as we mentioned off the top, but as we keep an eye on the standings over the course of the week, of course these teams, they're playing off for the Loggins Bruton Cup. Here's a replay of the Dieng drive and the Sam Timmins putback. That was all kinds of nice. And the foul that sent Agata to the free throw line. The Loggins Bruton Cup, of course, named after the two Hall of Famers, Cal Bruton, OAM, and Leroy Loggins. We'll speak more about those two fellas as the night progresses. But all games are worth a maximum of 7 points, Pete. So 3 points for the win and an additional point awarded to the side that wins each quarter. If the quarter is tied, both teams receive half a point. So Melbourne United off to a flying start, and they took the first quarter honours and 1 point towards the Loggins Bruton Cup. Shout out to the two legends no doubt watching on. Rob Lowe catching and splashing from long range.
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle we talk about when Yanni Wetzel does come back. A completely different play to the way Rob Lowe to be able to step out and knock down the three with Finn Delaney, who's going to do the same thing. He adds another threat to the floor.
Here's Dia Prooster. Been out there for a couple of minutes. First catch sent away by Besson. Great defense from the teenage Frenchman. Here goes Delaney. Can't draw the foul on Lawala Chul. Straight up and down from the Melbourne big. Golding, Peatling, back to Golding. Spinning, wheeling, dealing, and can't knock it down. That would have been a sight to behold.
Well, you thought it was probably going to go up. He knocked down his last one. It normally doesn't take too long for CG to get a couple up once he knocks one in. It comes up a bit long there.
Here's Besson. Pulls up mid-range. It's off. Peatling cleans it up. 1 point game. Just a tick under 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. We've seen that a million times over the years. Matthew Dellavedova with the floater down the lane.
And that's exactly right. That is his bread and butter. Delhi just surveying the floor, seeing that the defense wasn't set up, makes one quick move, gets a little floater. Floater to go.
Seaver turns down his own floater to find Low. Oh, wow. Hugo Besson. Athletic finish underneath, and he'll go to the charity stripe for the and one opportunity.
Oh, look in his eyes like he might have thought he was going to go up, and he is a very sneaky athletic, and I'm looking forward to Andrew Gay seeing that. Andrew Gay loves his sneaky athletes. Besson is definitely one of those.
It's often a conversation with Drury about whether it's sneaky or whether it's explosive. He said Jack Whitey, I remember him saying last year and correcting his good mate Leonard Copeland, saying, no, they're not sneaky hops with Jack White. They are all kinds of explosive. These sneaky with Hugo Besson?
Well, we'll see. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to be doing too much above the rim, but some reports and what's gone down in the preseason, and he's going to have a couple of attempts which may go in that explosive category.
David Aquera, the youngster, checks in for Melbourne. Can't finish there. Dean Vickerman getting right through his squad here in the first half. Seaver finds Besson. He's feeling good. But he stepped out of bounds. Just a little deep with his footwork there. Shout out to the legend Shane Heel, who wouldn't have enjoyed that from Hugo Besson.
Keeping an eye on Peyton Seaver there. Just looked like he came down, and it looked like on Chris Golding's foot. He asked for the quick sub and get his ankle looked at, and obviously pre-season, no need to try and test anything.
He's had a little bit of trouble with his calf in the last couple of weeks, Peyton Seaver. He's had all kinds of troubles with niggling injuries over the course of the last 3 or 4, 5 years, Seaver. So you're right, they're not going to risk anything. Offensive foul called there down low. Lawala Chul, good defense from the Breakers.
Great defense. He's not happy with it, but Rob Lowe did exactly what he has to do. And tell you what, Joe Lawala Chul, when he faces you up, we know his ability to put it on the floor, but got to go left or right. Going straight through the big fella is not going to work out too well. And good take by Rob Lowe there.
Score's tied. Tick under 3 minutes to play in this second quarter. The opening game, the NBL Blitz. We head to Tasmania tomorrow night. See the Jack Jumpers make their NBL preseason debut. Illy just gets physical with McDowell White. Draws the foul, and he'll go to the stripe.
It's an exciting time for Tasmania, isn't it? And we've been talking about it for so long, and the late start to the season. The members are on board, and I'm sure the players are ready to go. And it'll be a great moment, everybody in Tasmania.
Is it the Anthill? Are we going with the Anthill for my State Bank Arena down there in Hobart?
If that's what, you're the snag pit creator, if I was correct, from last year.
I think it could be the Anthill, and we'll see the grand opening of the brand new world-class My State Bank Arena tomorrow night in Hobart. Adelaide facing Cairns, and the Jack Jumpers in front of their home fans for the first time against Nathan Sobey and the Brisbane Bullets. Amazingly, tickets are free thanks to the Tasmanian government. So they will no doubt have been snapped up, and it will be a good atmosphere in the Anthill tomorrow night. 36-34. Shea Illy puts Melbourne in front. Delaney, that's a tough guard for the young David Aquera. The Breakers come up short. Chris Golding looking to make a play. He gets, oh, nice pass. Aquera can't grab it. And Jeremiah Martin in transition. Oh, good defense. Melbourne almost sent him away. The Breakers able to score. So here comes Illy attacking on McDowell White. Can't finish. And the Breakers looking to take advantage in transition again. Martin trying to get into the paint. Delaney doesn't hesitate this time. It's off McDowell White. And Chris Golding with the rebound. Minute and a half to play in the opening half. At the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, closed doors due to COVID restrictions to open the Blitz. But this has been a fun first half. Here's Dalton, finds Davo Hickey, who's into the game. Good hands from Martin, and he cashes in down the other end.
Well, he's looked really good this opening half. Been a lot of rust displayed from both teams. Shea Illy tees one off in transition. He's short. Jeremiah Martin, he has been a real standout.
The final minute of the opening half. Besson, he gets a little space. Does not hesitate. But it comes off. Shea Illy will set things up for Melbourne United. They're in no rush. Down 2. Aquera. Oh, geez, the Breakers thought he'd picked up his dribble, and he took advantage right to the rim. Timeout, New Zealand.
Well, I thought he picked up his dribble too there. Might have got away with something, but it doesn't matter. He got 2 points on the board. And a quick timeout here before the end of the first half.
So a nice little punch here from David Aquera, 19-year-old DP. NBA Global Academy. He's upgraded to a full contract next year, and I'm waiting to find out whether Melbourne, have they made it official yet, or it feels like their plan is for Aquera to fill that spot of Jack White's until he returns later in the season.
Well, it sounds about right,
Dustin.
It does make sense, and I mean, from all reports, that Jack White is on track to get back earlier than we originally expected, which is just really great to see. We know how important he was for Melbourne United, how exciting it was for everybody, what he did, and I can't wait to see him back. And I'm sure every fan of Barca wants to see him back, but that would make a lot of sense because he'll come in and eventually work his way back into being that prominent role, and that's going to take a lot of time too once you do get the green light to go ahead. But he's looked good in a little bit of non-contact stuff, but all basketball fans looking forward to seeing him back, and Dejan Vasiljevic as well. Both guys who are weirdly have had similar paths of injuries throughout their whole career. Old teammates for Australia. Right. When something's happened to the other one, they're not related, but you could actually think they were twins based on a lot of their past history. But looking forward to seeing both of them back on the floor.
Well, the Kings are severely banged up heading into their first preseason game. We'll see them in the second leg of this doubleheader, and we'll talk more about their injuries as the night progresses. But back before the new year is the latest word about Dejan Vasiljevic, which is really exciting because he was blowing up. We've been so excited about what Josh Giddey's been able to do at the NBA level. Well, Vasiljevic was going to beat him for Rookie of the Year when he went down with the Achilles injury last season. Hopefully he comes back roaring and ready to go. Offensive foul, McDowell White. Shea Illy doing Shea Illy things at the center line.
Well, I think that timeout was from Dean Vickerman to try and set up that full court pressure. Another different aspect they can throw, and there you go. Dan Shamir is in mid-season form already with the referees. He's not happy at all. And it looked like they might have got away with an 8-second violation anyway. So either way, it's a turnover. Melbourne United get a chance to go into halftime with a lead.
Dan Shamir nearly cleaned up one of his assistants.
And a preseason technical, it looks like.
Is it a tech or a warning?
Might be a warning.
He's heated. Shamir, third year at the helm of the Breakers. Geez, he's had a rough trot of things over the course of those 3 years, and he did draw that tee. Chris Golding looks to cash in down the other end. Well, the ball don't lie.
Not sure who that was, but Dan Schmier's in a conversation, but it wasn't him.
He's not happy, but they got off the hook. So 15 seconds to play. Final possession of the opening half here for Melbourne United. They lead by 1. Shea Illy guarded by Jeremiah Martin. He's on the attack. Tough, pesky defender Martin, but he fouls there and sends Shea Yilly to the free throw line.
I think Dan Shamir was a bit upset with, it looked like Hickey went down a little too easy. Shea Yilly looked like he read that pretty well. It looked like it was the right call, but the first one where he thought that should have been called the other way or some sort of call. Either way, Shea Yilly has been in attack mode since stepping onto the floor.
Third season at Melbourne United for Shea Yilly after 5 for the Breakers. Of course, Tall Black, Kiwi international, plays so well every time he pulls on that Tall Black's jersey and was a key part of that championship team for Melbourne United last season.
FIBA Illy.
2-point lead. Here comes Martin. Time ticking away as the second quarter expires.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy! 3-point hit on the buzzer from Hugo Besson, the Frenchman. Tipped to go in the first round of next year's NBA draft, and he puts the New Zealand Breakers up 1 at the half.
Well, he's not shy. He got the 9 points, 3 of 7. And he kind of got thrown a grenade there from Jeremiah Martin, but let it fly. And nothing but the bottom of the net. He'll be really happy with that. Another one to calm those nerves and just go out there and know what he can do. But as we spoke a little bit about and will continue to throughout preseason, the Breakers are really high on what Besson can bring in that starting lineup. And to be able to play alongside Finn Delaney, those guys, it's going to be an exciting one.
Well, it was a 6-point lead, was the biggest lead of the game over the course of that first half. Such a nip and tuck affair. And the Breakers, well, they take a 3-point lead into the half. It was an entertaining first half. Joe Lawala-Chul, the Melbourne United big man, dominated the opening quarter, but a good response from the Breakers. Dan Shamir heated down the stretch of that second term, but on the back of that 3-point hit from Besson, they've got themselves a first half lead.
I mean, they're not going to give away a lot, teams in the preseason. You're obviously trying to figure out what the best way to play, but from all signs we're seeing here, they're going to play fast. They're going to get a lot of shots up. They've put up 42 field goals to Melbourne's 31, and 21 of those have been threes. You look at their roster with no Yanni Wetzel, everyone can shoot the ball, besides Sam Timmins. When he come in, he was playing down low, but everybody's going to have their chance, and Dan Shamir looks like they're going to get up and down the floor, get a lot of shots up, and really have a high tempo offensively.
Let's break down the numbers before we take a little break here at half-time. Here's the team stats, Pete, and it's been dry from long range, really, for both of these teams. Melbourne United in particular, 1 of 10 from 3-point territory.
They're all good looks, weren't they? I mean, Delhi had a couple open ones, and that's what they want. Just got to see a couple of them go down. And there's the rebounding, 25 to 22. Lawala-Chul had a lot of offensive rebounds, 4 of them in the first half. He was a bit quieter in the second half, looked a bit gassed. New Zealand moving the ball a little better with the 8 assists, but ultimately, yeah, it's a lot of rust, which we expect, especially in the first hit out in the first half of a preseason game.
You see the leading scorers, Lawala-Chul 17. He had all 17 of them in the opening quarter. Besson, Delaney, Jeremiah Martin leading the way for the Breakers.
Jeremiah Martin, they looked really good, didn't he, when he stepped onto the floor? How disjointed the Breakers were to start their first hit out, but when he came on, he made some things happen. They looked really settled. There's our rebounding leaders, Mason Peatling, Lawala-Chul with 5 apiece. Sam Timmins came in, had another really good impact, so Dan Shamir will be really happy with what his bench brought. You wonder how much more we'll see if Peyton Seaver made a couple of nice plays off the dribble. Didn't try and do too much, but had that little bit of a limp as he walked to the bench, and we'll see what happens in this second half, and he's got the 3 assists.
What do you make of Peyton Seaver in that opening half?
I missed the couple of those 3 balls early, but besides that, it just looked like he was looking for everybody else, didn't he? Didn't want to look for his own shot, even if he got deep enough where he can have a floater, could have a little mid-range jump, really looking for the roll, looking for guys slashing, trying to get everybody else involved. And again, it's going to be new. When you come in to a league where you've got new players around you and you're obviously highly touted, had really good success, where do I fit in? How am I going to be in the best position to help my team win? Yeah, obviously hasn't hit the scoreboard. Got those 3 assists. Didn't try and do too much. Will he even play in the second half? If he does, will he try and assert himself a bit more in this game?
We'll find out after the break when we tip off the second half. It's been a fun opening couple of quarters to start the Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz. It's New Zealand 43, Melbourne United 40. Couple of minutes break, grab a cup of tea, get ready for the second half, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, where it's the New Zealand Breakers with a 43-40 lead over Melbourne United in the opening game of the 2021 Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz. 2.5 minutes away from the start of the second half, and Peter Hooley, the NBL champions, alongside me, Liam Santamaria, and Halls. It was a 20-15 second quarter from New Zealand. Put the clamps on Joe Luala-Chul and Melbourne United, and Dan Shamir in the sheds must have been pleased with the defensive response from his team.
Absolutely, and you saw the change even when Luala-Chul came back in to start that second quarter. As soon as he had the ball in his hand, everybody was looking. Finn Delaney was digging down. They were trying to make his life tough. But really, you've got to give a lot of credit to Sam Timmins. He came on and used his body, used his size, just to try and disrupt JLA's approach to when he gets the ball deep, when he tries to face up, he tries to get around you. He's just so hard to stop when he puts the ball on the floor and gets a step past you. We know how long he is when he gets to his hook shot, his ability to get to the rack. So he just used his body, and every time Joe Luala-Chul tried to push him and make some space, he didn't allow it. He just closed that gap and tried to make him do something different. Really, really happy with what Sam Timmins showed.
Keep in mind, no Yanni Wetzel in this one tonight. He's going to be huge for the Breakers this season. Outstanding free agent pickup by them. 11-7 on a finals team as a rookie last season. And the big challenge for the Breakers is what, can they keep their head above water in the opening month or 2 months of the NBL season? They play their first 12 games on the road. If they can go home 6-6, if they can go home 500 or something close to that, now they've got something to work with. And with a roster as talented as what they have and the learnings they will have taken from last season, do you give them a chance to pull that off?
Well, I do, just because the mindset it seems like they've come over this time. Obviously, they're going to go home a lot early. That's the plan, that they get to look forward to that. And as Finn Delaney said, the light at the end of the tunnel seems a lot closer, more reachable. So they know that, but they also know what it takes, what they can do away from basketball, off the floor, what they can try and do to get that culture right. But just to have that positive mindset, if we do go back with some sort of record like that, we're going to put ourselves in a really good spot for the second half of the year. You look back at the last 2 seasons for the Breakers. Obviously, last year was really tough for them for what they had to go through, but even the year before, they made a really good late run push towards the finals and fell just short. So if they can go back with that decent record and start feeling good about themselves, they're going to put themselves right in the picture, and they've got a nice squad. I've been really high on them from what they've put together, and they've got a nice few pieces they've got to try and figure out. But as you said, their challenge is unlike anybody else's to start this season. Perth's going to go through it as well. For a little bit, but can they stay the head above water and go home and try and make a splash?
Keep your eye on Hugo Besson to begin this third quarter. I feel the 20-year-old, I called him a teenager earlier, 20 now.
Seems like a teenager to us.
Well, yeah.
26.
Led the second division in France in scoring last season, 20 a game, and I think he's going to be feeling good after the late 3-ball to end the first half. As we get underway, third quarter action at the Sports and Aquatic Centre. Golding, no hesitation, lets it fly. Besson cleans it up. So an early look for Golding as Melbourne United try to get their superstar up and about. Seaver finds Besson, hand off back to Seaver. Import point guard, keeps his dribble alive. They've got the mismatch down low, they've got the mismatch on the perimeter. Seaver hard off the iron. Melbourne United in transition.
You see Payne Seaver as Delhi tries to throw it full court. Seaver gets the pass, but just surveying, keeping his dribble alive, not trying to really attack off the dribble. You're wondering, as you said, as Finn Delaney comes up short, has he got that little bit of those injury niggles from the preseason? He just doesn't want to do too much right now, because you think when you get the big fella JLA, we know he's got the length on him defensively, but you want to try and explore that downhill. Just settles for a 3-ball. Just doesn't look quite right.
8 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 3 turnovers for Delhi. Clearly, the calf is okay for Seaver. They wouldn't be risking him right now. 1-on-1 in the block with Delhi. Finds Luala-Chul and one finish. Matthew Dellavedova sets up Joe Luala-Chul. And the Melbourne United fans watching on from home will be enjoying that.
Well, it's not what the original sideline out of bounds play was, but Delhi liked what he saw. He's back to the basket, got that ball in and made a play. Nice little spin, and JLA getting to the dunker spot right where he has to be to finish.
He's got 20 now, Luala-Chul. A minute into the third quarter. on track to have a Brad Hill type preseason performance in the opening night of the Blitz.
It's a great throwback. I'm all about that. As Rob Lowe tees one up.
Lowe can't hit. Daly with another rebound. That's his fourth. Finds Peatling. Great pass. And Luala Chul with the putback.
Just the awareness there of Mason Peatling running down the floor, setting that little brush screen for Delhi, who made things happen. That's just what Mason Peatling's evolved into, is Peyton Seaver with a turnover there. But just that's why Dean Vickerman has that trust in him already, Mason Peatling, to make those kind of plays. Little brush screen, got Delhi open, great roll. Comes up with the miss, but Joe Luala-Chul there to put a lid on it.
I enjoy your focus on the fundamentals. We get the two-hand strong flush from Joe Luala-Chul, and I enjoy your appreciation of the brush screen and the roll to the rim from Peatling. Very, very nicely done.
At Joe Luala-Chul's height, we expect him to be able to clean that one up.
Expect that, yeah. Here comes Golding. He just lets it fly. NBA territory, can't hit. Here comes Seaver. Looking to make plays in transition. Daly giving him a bit of space to work with. Here comes Abercrombie now. Daly reads that and picks it off. Golding skips into a catch and shoot three and knocks it down. Dan Shamir calls for Jeremiah Martin to come into the game as Golding takes his tally to 6.
That's where they've been at their best, Melbourne United, over the last few years, getting defense, turning it into offense, and Chris Golding knowing exactly where he's got to get to, and Delhi with another deflection, back-to-back deflections, and here comes Melbourne United.
The defensive instincts, and Golding the offensive ones down the other end. Time out breakers. Dellavedova, 8 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, stuffing the stat sheet in his preseason debut, and Golding and Luala-Chul cashing in down the other end.
You wonder if Dan Shamir was talking about it at halftime. Let's try and run through some sets, because those last 2 plays really look like they were trying to get to the end of their offensive set. Tom Abercrombie just telegraphed that, trying to find Rob Lowe on that high post flash, and Dellavedova just read it like a book, and that's what he does, and comes back down, leaves Peyton Seaver, gets another deflection on a pass, and they're out, off and gone. And again, that's what Melbourne United has made their bread and butter over the last few years, turning defense into offense. Dean Vickerman will be really happy with that.
How about the impact from Daly? There's the replay of that finish from Joe Luala-Chul. Takes his tally to 22. Chip-ins from the stat man. Now, there's, if you look up to the top of the stands there, the mask, the black mask above Simon Mitchell, talking to Southeast Melbourne Phoenix CEO Tommy Greer, that is the world-famous stat man at NBL Facts. And he
should be here.
Well, he should be here. He is there, but he's still getting the job done. He messages through to say that Joe Luala-Chul's career high is 23, which he got against the Breakers last season. So now I don't think preseason games come into this kind of consideration, but he's topped that already. 24 points on the board, has almost half of Melbourne United's points 2.5 minutes into the third quarter.
Well, he's definitely going to be a big focus for them with Jock Landau departing and what he can do and what he showed last year, but we saw it a bit in the first half. When he got tired, how can he control that? How can he still have a positive impact? Because if you're dragging your feet a little bit on offense, you picked up that offensive foul, a turnover or two, and you're not going to do what you need to do defensively, Dean Vickerman will sit you down. That's just going to be what Dean Vickerman does. So he's got to try and do, he's got his hands on his head now, try and work through that, try and build up that aerobic capacity, because they look like a completely different team with him on the floor and when he's not on the floor.
Garda picks up that foul on Martin. The Breakers take it on the side, 14 on the shot clock, and a turnover. Sloppy play from Jeremiah Martin, and Dan Shamir will be very frustrated. Yanked Hugo Besson out of the game, inserted Martin. He comes in and throws that thing away.
Well, just 3 guys kind of walking towards the ball, and Delhi was the only one who was ready to go, and there's the turnover. Delhi gives it straight back.
Good hands from Lowe. Seaver in transition, and I think that was peace there from JLA, who runs the floor, catches under the rim, steadies his feet, and finishes at the cup. 26 now for Joe Luala-Chul.
How quickly he does that, because when you put any big guy puts the ball on the floor, you got the young buds in there trying to really hack at it, cause some sort of turnover, gets it straight back up. It's a nice little finish.
He's 10 of 14 from the field. Martin into the lane, kicks it out. Delaney, he's got a bit of a lane to attack. Strong body finish from Finn Diesel at the cup. Here's Golding. Ooh, funky pass to Agata down low. Short range shot from him's off. And the Breakers looking to cut further into this lead. Here comes Martin. Transition screen from low. Handoff. Ball's with Abercrombie now. A little disjointed offensive set. Delaney wants to post up Golding. Finds Martin. 5 on the shot clock. 4, 3. Has to make a play. Crosses Golding. Step back. Lets it fly. It's off the rim. Peatling. Agata. What can he do? Leading scorer of the Israeli League. Knocked out of his hands from Martin. And Joe Luala-Chul from long range. Off the front of the rim. Daly. He lines it up from three-point territory. He can't hit. Geez, they have been ice cold over the course of the entire ball game from long range, Melbourne United.
Well, 2 of 14 from long range. Here's Melbourne United, and Chris Golding with the only 2 hits, but New Zealand Breakers, 5 of 24. And you see that last possession, there's not a lot of attacking of the rim. The only times we've seen is when Jeremiah Martin had that impact in the first half. He was really trying to get his head on the rim and make plays. Peyton Seaver's done it, but he keeps his dribble alive and ends up bringing it back out and then settling for a 3. They need to get a lot more getting downhill, putting that pressure on Melbourne United and trying to get something at the rim.
Well, here is Martin, tees it up. He's not listening, clearly. Lets it fly from long range. Luala-Chul down the lane, Peatling running the floor, and he gets fouled. Finn Delaney not happy with the call, but Mason Peatling, the rookie, even though it's his second year in the league, as strange as that sounds, will head to the free throw line.
Well, it is. It's contrasting shot selection, isn't it? We talk about Melbourne United, 2 of 15. They've all been open. I mean, Chris Golding took that one contested 3 ball and knocked down another contested. That's what Chris Golding does. Every shot seems open to him, but New Zealand Breakers, a lot of them have been contested. A lot of them have been settling. You get the mismatch, not even trying to explore. They might be a little tired here. They might have some little niggles here and there. But it just really looks like they're settling for some contested 3 balls instead of really trying to explore downhill, especially against mismatches.
5 points for Peatling. Takes the margin out to 9 for United as Dion Brewster looks to check in. Seaver guarded by Illy. One of the best defensive players in the league. Kick from the Breakers. Delaney, step back. Can't hit. Was 40% from 3 last season, Finn Delaney.
Well, that was a good shot selection. Peyton Seaver again, you see the heat that he put on the rim. Kick out. Martin, one more to Finn Delaney. Takes that step back. And they get the steal here. Can they get something to drop?
Seaver kicks it to Delaney. This is where he's at his best. Exploring in transition. He draws the foul on Golding, who was out of position down low.
As you said, that is when Finn Delaney's at his best, attacking the rim, and then you see Peyton Seaver hasn't scored yet. Hasn't really taken those long 3 balls. Finn Delaney catches Chris Golding sleeping, who just wants to say hello and test out the signs in the preseason.
Held up pretty well.
Held up well, didn't it? But that's what they've got to get, a bit more downhill. Finn Delaney does it best. Will McDowell-White in, trying to do it. You remember in that first quarter, when Galloway came in, Timmins, Finn Delaney, that pick and roll, they were really getting stuff at the rim, getting those pocket passes. The bigs were making some plays. They've got to put that heat on the rim, because right now it is just one of those days from outside. 18%, 5 of 27.
You're right. Finn Delaney, pick and rolls, short rolls, making plays off that free throw line. That's when the Breakers can do some damage. That's where Martin does damage. Such a difference maker at the defensive ends, turning defense into offense, and he gets himself to the stripe.
You see that steal just around free throw line extended down the other end, and there was about 4 guys in front of him, and in 2 dribbles he got right alongside Mason Peatling, who was the last man back, drew the foul. He's got a quick change of pace.
There were a few NBL clubs over the off-season having a close look at Jeremiah Martin, even some having conversations with him prior to New Zealand picking him up. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, he's been brought in to replace Ty Webster, and I think he's going to have a big impact. Now, maybe not, blowing people away with eye-popping numbers, but it just plays like that, plays that can turn games at the defensive end. His ability to get steals, be a pesky defender, and then get downhill and to the rim. Here the Breakers win it back as they continue to cut into this margin.
Well, no, he's been really exciting since stepping onto the floor. I mean, missed a couple of shots, but hasn't really put a foot wrong with what Dan Shamir would want from him. And Hugo Besson, when the way he started and obviously finished that half, but Dan Shamir sat him down, didn't like something to start this one. But in terms of really being aggressive and attacking, not settling, Jeremiah Martin has been their guy. And here he goes again.
Oh, geez, looked like maybe a little friendly fire from Finn Delaney. Either way, Martin gets the call, and just like you say, Pete, attacking, getting 2 feet in the lane, wheeling and dealing, and earning himself to the free throw line is the second breaker into double figures. He's got 10, Delaney's got 13, and they've cut the margin to 6.
I'll tell you what, when regular season, might see a coach's challenge on that one, because you're right, that was friendly fire there. There was not too much in that. But again, you're just happy to see it and reward the man for putting his head on the rim, and see Ousmane Dieng ready to check into this one. Can he try and get some things going? Looked good when he kind of moved off the ball. Didn't just try and settle for those long threes. He's an exciting prospect. The length, the ability to put the ball on the floor, his athleticism. That's why he's on that draft board.
Here comes Dieng, replaces Finn Delaney. Martin splits that pair. And, sorry, knocks them both down. So it's a 4-point game. Really good response here from the Breakers, led by Martin. Prewster finds Illy, goes to Barlow. That's usually down. Luala Chul gets another possession for Melbourne. One-on-one with Galloway. Bucket. 28 now for Joe Luala Chul.
And you don't put a body on him, he gets the offensive rebound. As soon as Shaylee threw it back to him, you see how quickly he faced up, a little in and out, and he was done. That was going to be a bucket or a foul.
Here's Dieng. Short on the pull-up. Brad Newley looking to explore in transition. Ousmane Dieng doesn't know about Brad Newley. That's what he's been doing. 18th year as a pro. Brad Newley, after debuting with the Crocs in 2004, and for all that time he's been doing a whole lot of that.
Transition buckets, defense not set. Brad Newley will make you pay as Will McDowell White hits from the corner. A much needed 3-ball for the Breakers.
It's a 5-point game. Here goes Luala Chul, working on his game high 28. Make it 30. Getting whatever he wants, whenever he wants it right now, Joe Luala Chul.
And this is why he's so unique, because you try and do it, you try and spin it, get him the ball on his left, but the ability for him to rise up with his right hand no matter where he is, as Galloway answers with a triple, makes him so unique around the league, Joe Luala Chul. And that little 30-piece nugget in the preseason, good way to kick off his NBL 22 campaign.
Well, you mentioned the word answer as Brewster draws the foul on Galloway. Scores it, plus the foul. But the Breakers have been coming up with the answers at the offensive end the last couple of possessions. Back-to-back 3 balls, one from McDowell White, one from Kyron Galloway, keeping them in touch.
Well, big hits from Galloway. That'll be good for him, but he picks up a foul down the other end and has to take a seat. But Sam Timmins coming back in, and Will McDowell White, another one we spoke about. It's going to be interesting, a little shuffle around of where am I going to have my impact on this team. We talked about the impact their guards are expected to have. We've seen it from Jeremiah Martin. We haven't seen too much from Peyton Seaver. Besson, and McDowell White will be an important part of this puzzle.
Sam Timmins back after his impressive first half. Martin feeling good. Getting a lot of defensive attention from Prewster, and that's largely going to be his role. Dion Prewster. They lost Sam McDaniel, have brought Prewster into the mix. It's great to see him back in the league. He's going to check out now, but of course we saw him for Sydney in 2015 and 2016 and 2017. Has been out of the league since then, but last season just tore up the NZNBL. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, led Wellington to the championship and has earned his way back into the NBL.
That's what the right word, earning what he's worth right now and getting rewarded for having that kind of impact. And what can he do for Melbourne United? And you heard that as soon as he had Jeremiah Martin, Dean Vickerman was screaming for him to get up and in. That is going to be his role. You're spot on to be able to be that guy that Dean Vickerman say, go harass someone. As Shea Illy tries to sell a bit of candy. Hits Dave Barlow. Speaking of doing that for years, comes up a bit short. Good attack from Shea Illy.
He's missed a couple of open looks. Barlow was 48% from 3 last season. The veteran. Can't hit there. 6-point game. Timmins. Dieng. He's open on the arc. And he can't make it count. Callum Dalton cleans it up.
Well, Dean Vickerman looks like he's told everybody when those handoffs, those guys go under. Delhi hits Shea Illy. He comes up short. We're trying to test out these young next stars to try and make him pay.
McDowell White. A minute and change left in the third quarter. Dieng looking to make a play. Martin, catch and shoot 3. It's off the iron. Rough night from long range for these two squads. Daly, staggered ball screens for him. Dalton, he was in a bit of an awkward spot. Turnover almost results. The floater hard off the board and the iron. Dieng takes it. Kick ahead, McDowell White. Looking to work off Delaney. Spacing all out of whack for the Breakers. Dieng downhill to the rim. Foul. Count it. Ousmane Dieng, the 18-year-old Frenchman, making plays here down the stretch of the third term.
That's what you want to see from Ousmane Dieng. Doesn't settle in. A couple of possessions before, if you remember, when he had Brad Newley, took a bump and just faded away and didn't end up just coming close to grazing the rim. Right there, took the contact but kept going. Had another step. That length he has is going to be crucial when he gets into the paint to make those type of plays. That should be a good little settler for Dieng.
Doesn't turn 19 until midway through next year, Dieng. So
that's why it's so exciting. His off-season work with Paul George, and it's what he wants to kind of play like. It's a good person to pick.
Pick and pop. Dalton off the Daly find. Can't hit. Dieng skies for the rebound. All 6'10" of him. Pulling that down. The juices are flowing for the teenager now. Ten seconds on the shot clock for the Breakers. No 2 for 1 for them as Martin can't hit. Good putback from Sam Timmins. 10 seconds to play here for Melbourne. 3. Here comes Dellavedova. Out of bounds. Boy, the turnover from Daly, the two veterans, Daly and Barlow. It says 6 there on your screen. I'm pretty sure it's 3 seconds left for the Breakers to make a play. McDowell White gets ahead of steam, pulls up from long range, and that's off. It's a 1-point game with a quarter to play. 63 Melbourne United, 62 New Zealand, and the opening game of the Blitz, Peter Hawley, looks like it may go down to the wire.
Well, the rust is there from both teams, isn't it? Especially from outside, and a lot of threes that are coming off the mark in this one. Melbourne United, 2 of 19. And as you said, a lot of those have been wide open looks. Chris Golding, the only one to have hit a couple. And for New Zealand Breakers, 7 of 32. And I tell you what, if you might be thinking maybe maybe the ring's a little bit low or a little bit high, we'll find out in the next game, because these two teams are going to let a lot of threes fly in the Phoenix and the Kings. But overall, some really impressive standouts. Obviously, Joe Luala-Chul is the one we're going to be talking about a lot after this performance with his 30-piece already. Really efficient, got the 8 boards. I've been really impressed with Jeremiah Martin, and Sam Timmins' work rate is incredible. That's something that Dan Shamir is going to love. The amount of times he pick and rolls, comes back up for another one. As we look at the scoring leaders, has been outstanding. Delhi got going a little bit in that one, but Jeremiah Martin, Finn Delaney has been excellent. That big 30-piece nugget, how much more are we going to see from him in this quarter? With Dean trying to rest a little bit, you got to throw him out there.
Come on, Vico. Let the man play. Build that confidence. 17 points for Luala-Chul in the opening term. The rebounding leaders there, Peatling and Luala-Chul leading the way with 8 apiece. Timmins, as you say, doing good work for the Breakers. He had 17 in the opening term at Luala-Chul. Scoreless in the second. Piled on another 13 there in the third quarter. What worked for the Breakers with Luala-Chul in the second term that got away from them after the break?
Well, they weren't meeting his body, but they were letting him get those second opportunities. Let him get out. When they turn the ball over, he's an athlete. He's gone. And when he's gone, they're going to throw it up, and he's going to get it over most people. There was a lot of mismatches when they did that, and they just threw it up, and Joe Luala-Chul had his way, but he brought down a couple of offensive rebounds we're going to see here. Gets to the right spot. Delhi's going to find you the and one opportunity. But everything else was right here. Hanging around, fixing that one, cleaning that one up, and then getting a couple of other O-boards. But those mismatches, that was off a turnover. That's going to be too easy. But you see here, gets another one. Finishes that one. As soon as he gets that O-ball, gets it down low. Even though you don't really want him to put the ball on the floor with his height, still looks after it well, throws it out if he has nothing, because he knows his teammates are going to throw it straight back in, and he goes to work. When he's that low, you can't stop him.
How much do we read into this performance from Luala Chul when you consider that Yanni Wetzel's not playing this ball game, the starting centre for their opponent not playing? He's going up against the backups. DP here in Sam Timmins, who earns his way to the free throw line. Everyone's trying to look at these games and say, well, what can we see that we know will translate over to the regular season? Is this kind of production what we should expect from Luala Chul over the course of the year?
I mean, maybe not to the degree of 30 points every night, but what you can obviously see is Melbourne United is saying, you're one of our main threats. You are up there with CG as one of our main offensive threats. We're going to put you in this position to be successful. We're going to. We want to see how well you can have a breakout season, because if you've got Joe Luala playing with confidence, turning around to Dean Vickerman saying, I'm unguardable, no one can stop me, and putting up 30 piece, Dean Vickerman's going to be pretty happy next game to say, you know what, to start with, we're going to see how you go. And if you get off to a flyer, we're going to keep running things through you.
Ili Agata, Newley, Barlow and Luala Chul to start the third for Melbourne. Newley can't finish there. McDowell, White, Usman Dieng finds Timmins. Oh boy! Dieng-Timmins combination above the rim.
Sam Timmins again, really enjoying the extra minutes he gets tonight without Yanni Wetzel playing, because Agata stops on a dime, albeit a slippery dime, and comes up way off, but here come the breakers.
So it's Abercrombie on one of the wings for the breakers right now. Dieng finds McDowell White. And Timmins, front position underneath, draws the foul on Joe Luala Chul, and he is doing yeoman's work underneath right now.
And that's going to be the real question mark, isn't it? We talk about Joe Luala Chul. We said it a bit tonight, and there's that lob from Dieng to Timmins, who gets out on the break. Is when he does get tired, he has a tendency to fall into these things. He doesn't get the position to box out. Whether his defense falls a little short, he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Dean Vickerman doesn't want that. Dean Vickerman doesn't want that from any player. So if you're tired or whatever, he's going to sit you down. You've got to be able to produce what he expects from you. So you're starting a preseason game like this, Dean Vickerman expects this every single time you step onto the floor.
Meanwhile, Sam Timmins giving everything to Dan Shamir that he would want from his DP off the bench. Luala Chul gets him up in the air. 32 now for JLA. As he extends Melbourne's lead.
And on the other end, as you see, that's why he does the guard workouts. An in and out crossover, a little hezzy. The patience to be able to go back up and score. Getting whatever he wants.
Down White. Working on Shea Ili. Kicks it out to Martin. Lines it up from long range. Can't hit, and a foul called on McDowell White. Skying like his old man over the defense, but called for the foul on the rebound, and Melbourne United will take it.
I love when McDowell White's in attack mode. You see him surveying the little in and out, got downhill. Jeremiah Martin filling that top spot. Great kick out. Just come up short. And again, they just can't buy too many from three. As Peyton Seaver checks back into this game. Can he get something going here on the offensive end? 1 point
lead to the Breakers over the defending champs. Opening game of the NBL Blitz. Southeast Melbourne and Sydney coming in the second leg. Great find. Ili to Newley for the bucket at the rim.
Well, we know Brad Newley what he does in transition, but that's what he does in a half-court set. Keep an eye on him. Slashing, cutting, backdoors. Great find from Shea Ili, and Brad Newley fills it up.
Abercrombie. Breakers need something good here. Seaver back to Abercrombie. Back to Seaver. Calls for the ball screen. Timmins cleans up Agata, and he's called. Is that his third offensive foul? No, that was Dalton picking up early ones for United.
That is his third, though, Sam Timmins.
Third personal.
You don't mind that, just trying to, at least you're trying to set the screens, trying to have your impact be felt, which we've seen a lot from Sam Timmins. But Tom Abercrombie played the 20 minutes. He had to take a field goal. We know what he does on the defensive end. He was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year before he got hurt last year.
Second in voting, despite those missed games.
Exactly, and he's outstanding as Joe Luala-Chul just puts his head down and attacks Sam Timmins. And this is, I think, where they are looking at what Yanni Wetzel could feel. The role of being able to move your feet, be a bit more agile, stay in front of Joe Luala-Chul and still be able to body up down low is going to be huge, because when he gets it down low, Sam Timmins has done pretty well back to the basket. Not too many big guys are going to be able to stay in front of that when he puts the ball on the floor.
So, adds to his game high tally, Luala-Chul. He's got 33 now. Puts Melbourne out by 2.
Super efficient. That's what you
Having
expect from a big guy, but 72%. Go along with his 8 boards.
Oh, he's been an unstoppable offensive force, and clearly his best ever game in a Melbourne United jersey. And just giving people a taste of what's to come over the course of this season. Seaver senses the moment, but can't make it happen. Air ball pull up. Melbourne United will take it.
Oh, great shot, but in the end, Shea Illy just all over him. He hasn't any chance to breathe. And that's what's going to happen. Every single guard on an opposing team playing against Melbourne United, you will have no chance to rest. You've got a Agata, you've got Matthew Dellavedova, and you've got Shea Illy, who Dean Vickerman will just rotate through and try and make your night as tough as possible with Illy with the split.
Oh my, Illy downhill with speed. Kick. Barlow can't hit, but Newley cleans it up at the rim. Timeout, Dan Shamir, as he just tries to stop the momentum and prevent this game getting away. Melbourne out by 5.
Well, it's the energy. The energy's changed the last few minutes. Shea Illy on defense is going to do that. He's done it his whole career, especially at Melbourne United the last couple of years. Delhi just checked back into the game. They are hounding defensively, and down the other end, coming up with that offensive glass, feeding the big fella Joe Luala-Chul. This is what Melbourne United are going to love to see.
I've liked the look of Brad Newley. I've been speaking about him a little bit during the week. Skinny Brad Newley coming into pre-season, and if you're a Melbourne United fan, you're very excited about what the veteran can bring for you off the bench when he is looking and moving as well as he's presented here in the first game of the pre-season.
And that's exactly going to be his role, isn't it, for Melbourne United? You talk about Dean Vickerman, a big trust guy. Can he trust you in big moments? Can he trust you in certain game scenarios? To be able to have a veteran of his caliber come in, do what he does best. He's not going to change his game now. He's going to slash, he's going to get out and transition, but being in that shape is going to help him move his feet on the defensive end, going to make Dean Vickerman know that he can trust him there, and then down the other end, do what he does best.
On the flip side, for the Breakers, there you see Peyton Seaver. You just did get the feeling there on that last offensive possession of him saying, all right, I'm going to assert my authority here at the offensive end. Wasn't able to come up with the goods, but let's see what he can do in this fourth quarter. He's got the 2 young Frenchmen alongside him on the wings, Dieng and Besson, Abercrombie, and the veteran in Rob Lowe up front. See if he gets it back from Lowe. He's got the mismatch with Luala-Chul. Gets into the lane. Barlow switches onto him, and a foul called. Melbourne feel like it was a bailout. Seaver gets himself to the stripe.
Tate Barlow might have been a bit unlucky there. Seaver falling away, but either way he gets to go to the line. See a couple hopefully go down for him, and you see the little calf sleeve he has on that left, as you said, during the preseason. A little bit of an injury worry there, but I was wondering whether we'd see the 2 next stars at all on the floor together. And we get an opportunity here with Dieng and Besson running the wings.
First attempt dribbles off for Seaver, and the second one in and out as well. So Seaver comes up short, and the margin remains at 5 for Melbourne. Barlow, the foul called on Seaver, trying to get a little more physical, a little more intensity into the defense, and he picks up the personal.
Well, that physicality is going to have to be there, because we know how physical the league is. All imports coming in, next stars, it's always an adjustment period to how physical the NBL is compared to a lot of other different leagues around the world and how it's officiated.
Oh, Delhi in the block, trying to go to work on Besson. Holds his own. 3-point attempt from the corner. Brad Newley, fourth quarter 3-point hit.
Well, we spoke about what he does well in transition and slashing, but corner 3 ball, that's on the scout for Brad Newley. You've got to know where he is if he's spotting up in the corner.
Besson off the Rob Lowe screen. Gets Delhi out of position. Lowe draws the foul on Lawal Lachul. It's the 4th team foul on United. The Breakers will take it on the side.
Delhi's called his own number twice, on maybe 3 times in the post. Backs himself, and not necessarily to try and get a bucket. He's going to do it to try and get his man deep as possible and try and make the right play. Found Newley there, found Lawal Lachul a couple times earlier in the game. As he's going to take a seat now. You got Peatling and Barlow playing in the front court. He's got the 4 fouls to go along with his buffet tonight of 34 points. Bit of an all-you-can-eat night for Joe Lawal Lachul.
Here's Abercrombie. They need that, the Breakers. Can't provide it. Barlow pulls it down. Siva meets Illy. Can't draw the offensive foul. Barlow on the attack. Lefty finger roll is off. Besson puts the Jets on. The 20-year-old Frenchman crosses Dellavedova. Step back. Oh, finds Rob Lowe. It was a risky pass, and the big fella can't wheel it in. There's a calmness about United right now. Peatling finds Newley, and he draws the foul.
And that's what Melbourne United does, because you got Besson looked good, had the handle there, caused a mismatch. Great feed to Rob Lowe. But Melbourne United, out of position defensively, didn't panic. They all walled up. That's what you're going to get from Barlow and Mason Peatling. Not going to be guys who are trying to block your shot. They're going to wall up, make you finish over them. Rob Lowe couldn't do that. And then down the other end, you feed the mismatch, and Brad Newley slashing to the rim, goes to the free throw line for 2.
So Newley's got 10 now off the bench. 4 boards and assist in his 15 minutes on the floor. Good contribution from him. Is the only other Melbourne United player in double figures. And it takes his tally to 11. So it's a 10-point margin. 5.5 to play here in the 4th term. Can the Breakers punch back? Siva from long range, off the front of the rim, low. Here comes Finn Delaney, and he hits it. They needed that. Margin 7 off that Finn Diesel 3 ball.
Did they what? 8 of 37 from downtown. There's an offensive foul there. Jeremiah Martin trying to spark something. A lot of them have been some pretty good looks. They have tried to force a couple, but overall, big knockdown.
And that's the exact type of play I'm talking about with Jeremiah Martin. He draws that offensive foul on Peatling by crawling into the ball, fighting over that screen a long, long way from the hoop. And it's that defensive intensity that wins the ball back for the Breakers at a crucial time. Can they get another one here? Martin draws the foul on Illy. He'll go to the free throw line.
So Illy pointing around thinking there might have been a bit of an illegal screen. He's looking at one of his good mates, Finn Delaney there. There might have been a little extra on that, but nevertheless, it's going to go to the line here. Jeremiah Martin for 2. We wondered, pre-season, trying different rotations. Make no mistake, teams are trying to win this cup. Chris Golding coming back into this ball game.
Martin knocks it down. 6 points in it. There's a bit of chatter out there. Splits that pair. Martin, he's got 14. Siva getting back on D. Melbourne will take it out. 20 seconds left on the shot clock.
Mason Peatling sprinting the floor. That's what made Dean Vickerman fall in love with him last year. His work ethic, all the 1%ers won't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. That's what Mason Peatling's going to give you.
What's the call here? We didn't have a great look of how that play was unfolding, but the foul called off the ball on the Breakers.
Might have been on Rob Lowe. It is just trying to bump Chris Golding as he was running through the lane. Not the man you want to send to the free throw line when you're trying to get back into this one, but a little bit of physicality stepped up in the last few minutes here.
Golding's got the yips at the line as well.
I'll take that one on the chin for saying that Don't want to send him to the line. Said it about Peyton Seaver as well. Missed a couple.
Drills the back end there, Golding. Extends the margin back out to 7. Less than 5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Opening game of the NBL Blitz. Besson. Step back triple. Going to his left. Can't hit it. Rob Lowe can't win it back. David Aquera, good work down the lane. Geez, he copped a foot to the head. And Peatling with the putback.
Just gets in the right place at the right time, Mason Peatling. And Aquera was off and running.
That makes things difficult for the Breakers. Besson finds Delaney. He's got the lane and he kisses it off the glass. Much needed bucket there for the Breakers. A little extended pressure.
He's been solid, Finn Delaney. Got the 18 points, 6 of 13.
Oh, back cut from Aquera. Turnover. Here comes Besson. Kicks it ahead. Seaver one-on-one with Dellavedova. No good. Peatling out of bounds. The Breakers will get it back.
That's what we're talking about with Peyton Seaver. Didn't look like he had a lot of getting up there,
Didn't
did
have
he?
the pop on the
Didn't
finish,
have the pop,
did he?
and that's going to be that left calf you see that's on. We spoke about he had those preseason little injury scare. Not really a scare, more of just preseason niggles, but didn't really get up off the ground too much at all, but trying to get in attack mode.
So it's David Aquera out there in these crucial fourth quarter minutes right now. Joe Luala-Chul calling his Jets. He's got the game high 34 with 9 boards. He's got the 4 personals. Dean Vickerman just sitting on him for right now. Will McDowell-White, catch and shoot, and he drills it. Big hit from McDowell-White. The Breakers right back in this thing.
He's the only one. And Besson, who have hit a couple threes.
5-point margin. Aquera kicks it out. Caleb Agata now. New import. First game in a Melbourne United jersey. Golding from long range. That's down. Chris Golding from where he likes it best. A foot or two outside the 3-point arc.
Oh, Caleb Agata put his head down. It looked like he lost control, but in the end, all you got to do is find one of your shooters and found the best one. Stepped up and knocked it down. He's going to get called for a foul there. A bit overzealous trying to blow up that handoff. But a good attack from Agata, and Chris Golding steps right into that one. Knocks it down.
Good job from Delaney. Just making sure he got that call. And he goes to the free throw line. Add to his team high 18-point tally. And try to cut into this 7-point lead. Able to roll that first one in.
Sound a bit like a broken record, but it has been that outside shooting from both teams. 4 of 23 for Melbourne United. 3 of those have been from Chris Golding, only 17%. And the Breakers, who look like they're going to be living a lot at the 3-point line this year, 23% on 9 of 39. And a lot of those have been some good looks.
Too many attempts. Needed to get a little more to the rim for mine. But they're still in it. 5 points the margin. A tick under 3 minutes to play. Delhi, Golding, reverse layup. That's cash. Good combination there from the bronze medal Olympians.
6 assists for Delhi now. Just doing a little bit of everything. He's got a couple of steals, 5 rebounds, 8 points.
Besson trying to make a play on Caleb Agata. Gets the step, slices his way to the cup and scores it.
And you're right. Finally, we saw it a little bit in this second half. Not settling for any sort of mismatch. Putting your head down, making something happen at the rim. The Breakers looked a lot better with that. Still get the kickouts if it's there, but not settling. They've looked like a different team.
He's got some shades of Chris Golding about him. Hugo Besson. And those two exchange buckets. He leaves Golding on the arc though, Besson. Big mistake. Got out of jail free. Gets another look at it, Golding, and he drills it. Melbourne United's captain coming up big in the fourth to keep his team in the lead.
Can't give him too many opportunities, especially after just missing one. He'll make the adjustment. There's going to be an offensive foul on Rob Lowe, who's going to sit down with 5 fouls in this one.
So he's up to 15 now, Golding. big couple of minutes. Couple of knockdowns from long range, backdoor cut, reverse layup finish off the feed from Dellavedova. Just when his team with Joe Luala-Chul cooling his jets on the bench needed an offensive punch, Golding put his hand up and responded.
He talked about JLA and how he's going to be a big focus. You think United are going to use Chris Golding, probably more so than any of the last few years, as the main offensive threat. He always is. But without the likes of Mitch McCarron and Scotty Hobson, having Delhi, who's going to be looking for him as Peatling tees one up and comes up a bit long, Chris Golding is, you'd expect to have one of, again, another massive scoring year.
Must score here, the Breakers.
Oh.
Martin responds. That was a tough 1-footer as he faded away from the rim. Big possession. A score here will finish it for Melbourne United. Martin right in on Dellavedova and an offensive foul.
Well, giving Delhi a bit of a taste of his own medicine there. He just didn't stop harassing him. Delhi, we know him for that little snake dribble when he comes across and gets the defender on his back and tries to really just slow you down. He just stayed harassing him and ended up getting that offensive foul call. Quick timeout here. Dan Shamir wants to talk things over, but we look back on this one. Obviously, the main highlight, talking point is Joe Luala-Chul's outstanding efforts, but Jeremiah Martin has been really good. Delhi just having a few things to say to the referees. They go to the benches. Jeremiah Martin's been excellent.
He really has. And in those big moments, every time the Breakers have looked like maybe things are going to fully start slipping away, Martin has made plays at both ends of the floor. Drawing offensive fouls defensively, getting deflections, getting steals, and then making plays offensively. You know, for the most part, it's been getting his head on the rim, getting downhill, getting into the paint. But there, the fadeaway 1-footer, 16 points, 10 free throw attempts. So he's been aggressive and drawn fouls. He's drawn 9 fouls on Melbourne United over the course of the game. A couple of steals and 3 or 4 deflections that won't make their way onto the box score, as well as the offensive fouls drawn.
Well, besides Finn Delaney's 29.5 minutes, he's played the next most minutes. And you can see why. From the first quarter, New Zealand came out a bit shaky, a bit disjointed. As soon as Jeremiah Martin stepped onto the floor, things looked a lot more settled, and they started to get into their rhythm, and he found out where he fits, and looking forward to seeing what he develops into.
So Galloway's back on. Siva's not out there for the Breakers. They're putting the ball in Martin's hands. Lefty attack, and one. Jeremiah Martin. Big play after big play as we go down the wire in crunch time.
Well, we said a little bit when he got that steal and got out in the break and got fouled. The quick step you see here, the little hezzy and go, and Agata was just left behind and one. Big finish, but the quick change of pace. It's going to be really exciting. As we said, to him to be able to do that, he makes really good decisions when he gets down there, knocks down that free throw. He's going to have a little sub here, and looks like Basson coming out for Tom Abercrombie for defensive purposes. Really exciting to think about what Dan Shamir can use around him, especially with the next stars. Finn Delaney, Tom Abercrombie, and when Yanni Wetzel comes back. Love what I've seen from Martin.
So what do Melbourne go to here? Here's Agata. They find Dellavedova. Will McDowell-White up in his stuff. Golding coming off screens. Delhi lobs it up. Turnover. Galloway's got it. Here comes Jeremiah Martin. 3-point game. Downhill. Right to the rim. Kick. McDowell-White on the attack. Floater. And he can't quite roll it in. Luala-Chul with the board. And the foul call. Now, the number on your screen was in the 30s, but actually the Breakers had to foul. There was less than 24 on the clock. Shot clock switched off. Joe Luala-Chul will walk to the free throw line.
Well, they got a good look, didn't they? Great extra pass. Good attack once again. Finn Delaney with the little off-balance, one-handed extra pass. McDowell looked like it was going to go down. I'm not sure what. I know what the offensive set was for Melbourne United. And that play, you saw Delhi try and throw it to Chris Golding. Just preempted it. It was never there. New Zealand Breakers blew it up. They kind of cheated that screen. And if he waited a little bit, Chris Golding's coming, after he curls around that top screen, he's coming straight back up for an open look on the 3-ball. You're going to get JLA diving to the rim. Just threw it into traffic. It was... He might say he's an athlete, but he's not going to go up and get that over some other athletes on the floor. And JLA goes there for his 35th point of the game.
Big night from Joe Lualachul. Best sixth man in the league last season. And it was an unsportsmanlike foul that was called. The wrap up from behind, clearly. And so that's an unfortunate call because it means Melbourne, they get that 2 points from Lualachul. Possession here and essentially puts the jelly in the refrigerator on this game. Lualachul fouled down low, and he'll have a chance to add to his career high tally as Melbourne put the finishing touches on an opening night preseason victory.
Well, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? Joe Lualachul, that second quarter when he got a bit tired was the only time kind of looked like he was struggling out there, but besides that, it was probably a 4-minute span. For the next 25 minutes, he has been dominant, to say the least. 37 points as it sits right now, about to be 38. Vin Delaney just making sure the commentator's curse sticks, so it's going to be 37 to go along with 11 rebounds. It's Jeremiah Martin.
Martin can't hit there, and Melbourne take it away, and that'll do us. Does a little Bob Cousy in the backcourt, Chris Golding, and dribbles out the victory. Long range off the board for Golding won't count. 15 points from him. He was huge in the fourth quarter, and Melbourne get the win. 90-84 over the New Zealand Breakers to open the 2021 Hungry Jacks NBL Blitz.
They won 3 of the 4 quarters as well. Just that second quarter they dropped to the Breakers, but overall I think both teams will be a bit rusty. We know that the outside shooting wasn't there for either of them. A lot of things to be happy with, and you pick out certain parts on your first preseason game. Looked like at certain times, it's probably 4 or 5 times you thought Melbourne United might break their way with this one and turn it into a double-digit win. But credit the Breakers, credit that man we just saw, Jeremiah Martin. He was huge for the Breakers. Sam Timmins was another one who shot onto the scene that Dan Shamir will be happy with. And Basson, Dieng, they showed certain signs. Finn Delaney did what he does. Overall, you take some positives out of that, but a lot to work on, and that's why we call it the preseason.
Well, Joe Lualachul's the story, wasn't he? 37 points for Lualachul, 13 of 18 from the field, 11 boards, huge double-double from the big fella, and Chris Golding in crunch time, 15 points from him as Melbourne United's second leading scorer. Brad Newley, the other United player, in double figures. And for the Breakers, as you say, Delaney leading the way with 20, Jeremiah Martin, 19 for him and 3 steals, and 2 other guys in double figures. Hugo Besson with 11, Sam Timmins with 10 and 7. Good contribution from the DP. And as you see there, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix out on the floor warming up because they will be part of the second leg of our opening night doubleheader as they take on the Sydney Kings. Pete, a word from you on Melbourne's win over New Zealand before we finish up.
Oh, well, I mean, it's one word, isn't it, Joe? That was it, and he was outstanding. And Dean Vickerman, he wants to play. It's going to be defensive-minded, as always, and he's got the team to do that. You talked about Brewster, what he can bring. Love to have seen Hook Porty out there, what he could have done. But Joe Lualachul, what a great start that is for him, and that'll be really good for his confidence and what he can try and bring this year. Overall, Chris Golding did what he does. Delhi was great to see Delhi in an NBL game. Did a little bit of everything. Overall, I think they'll be happy with where they're at.
So they get 6 points to the NBL Blitz ladder. Melbourne United, they get 3 points for the win. They won 3 of the 4 quarters. The Breakers took the points in that second quarter, and a good start overall for United as they get the first win on the board for this year's NBL Blitz. We'll be back, tip-off at 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time for the second leg of our double header. In the meantime, on behalf of myself, Pete Hooley, and the hardworking crew out the back, we'll see you soon.
It is live, recorded off the internet straight away. Oh, no, because you're going to the puddle. Oh.